What's going on, everybody?
Wow.
Thank you for tuning in, man. We're super excited
We're
to
back.
be returning.
We're back.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. After 625 days since the last episode.
Man, I'm
December
not good at
2nd,
math, bro. I
2021.
finished my math prerequisites. I'm done. I'm
Yo,
not counting.
I suck at math too, but I had to add up the numbers for this. So, for the first time
Without
in about
further
18
ado,
months, don't
say
say this, say that.
Hey, man, we're
Oh, that
super
felt
excited.
good.
We're
That
super
felt
excited to
good.
be back, man. Yeah, for this new installment of Say That, you can expect, more consistency. You can expect the same type of content that we had previously, however, just in a more elevated state. And we're super excited to be back and for you guys to be tuning in. For this episode, you can expect for us to just fill in the gap. What happened?
Right.
Pete.
What have we been doing?
Pete's been traveling like crazy.
I've been going everywhere. I've been in
3 passports.
man.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, man, we're back. And before we get started with the episode, huge shout out and huge thank you to AOA Studios for all your creative needs. Hit them up. Anything
Right
you
here in
need.
Beverly, as you can see, this beautiful room for podcasting.
Absolutely.
Big shout out to Mike Scarfo of Turntable Teachers.
Absolutely.
He's the effing man.
Absolutely.
And he will help you out with whatever you need. This is a brand new studio. They've opened in about May, I believe, is the time frame from when they've been on. So about 4 months they've been around, but they have a long history in this game coming up. So make sure you're tapped in.
Absolutely. Real genuine people located in Beverly, Mass. Hit them up if you guys need any creative assistance.
So Mike, what's the fuck's been up, man?
Hey, man.
What's been good?
Man, a lot. But before that, thank you to everybody that's still been showing love. Thank you to
Seriously.
everybody that's been showing interest.
Seriously.
Where you guys been? What the hell did you and Pete fight? Like, what's going on? Actually, we did fight.
Yeah,
a
it was
couple
hell in a
times.
cell match. It was crazy. 5 stars.
Tables, ladders, and chairs, all that. But I'm not gonna say who won, who lost. But
It'll be on the WWE Network eventually.
Say that one.
Exactly.
But, yeah,
the brand one.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody that was, still looking to see us back on, asking if they can get on. When are we coming back? We really appreciate it. And honestly, you guys are one of the main reasons why we're here.
And
So,
like Mike said, I can't really stress that enough. Like the gratitude that I feel for everybody who's asked, is Say That's still a thing? When's it coming back? I actually also felt kind of bad because I was giving people excuses. And I don't like to make excuses of like, where were we? Why weren't we back? This, that, the other thing. But every time I did make an excuse, it was like, damn, we really got to get back.
Yeah, we even
And-
considered doing it at our own houses, as we were
Right.
mentioning earlier, but it was just weird. For anybody that's in the Latin culture or even the Italian culture, my house is loud, man. My
Yeah.
house is loud. I used to have to take asynchronous classes. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's when you take classes just online via Zoom and stuff like that during the pandemic. I was doing that, and there was some times where like it was my time to share in class, and I was like hesitant to unmute myself. People were loud in the Spanish house, man. So that's why we didn't take that route, and we did explore other studios, but no one made sense like the one we're in now. So we're
Correct.
We're happy to be here.
And
so.
see, the thing with the Italian household is we got a lot of expensive stuff in there, a lot of breakable stuff.
Oh,
so
really?
I can't risk that. You know what I mean? And also, it's like, do I really want like guests pulling up to my crib like that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want certain people
Yeah,
knowing where I
feel
live
weird.
and stuff
feel
like
weird.
that. You know what I
feel
mean?
Weird about
So
that.
obviously, the one studio that made sense is the gorgeous AOA Studios here in Beverly, and we are excited to be here. But, well, the big question is, what have we been doing? What's been going on since the last time you saw us on December 2nd, 2021? Well, firstly, as we mentioned, we're in a new studio, and we would like to tell you all right now what happened with our old studio. So, Mike, would you give them a little introduction as to why, Staples was working, but then it just
Yeah, I'll
kinda
give them a
went
backstory.
left? Right.
So I think the backstory that we should mention is how we actually met, because that ties into the story.
That is true.
So I had an idea that I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to inspire people, right? However, I knew most people did not want to be inspired. People wanted to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So I was introduced to Pete. Pete also had an idea of a podcast, and over one walk in
Beacon Hill.
Hills,
Yes, sir.
The public garden, we came up with the idea, and we just went at it. And the only place that was open during the pandemic was
Staples
Staples,
Connect
yeah,
in
Staples
downtown
Connect.
Boston, Grand City Hall.
Yeah, shout out to Pat.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
to Pat.
Pat Mahoney.
He was the studio manager at that time. I don't know what's going on with him, but he helped us set everything up, and we just hit the floor running. Everything was super fun. And while he was the manager of the studio, he assisted us with how to upload, where to upload, things like that. You know,
He got us on Anchor pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole podcast thing, for me, the exciting thing was that I was doing it, but at the beginning we had no plan. We just wanted to do it, and we did. And you know, the reception that we got motivated us to keep improving. However, Pat eventually, you know, he chose a different career path. He left Staples. A new manager came in there.
Get paid more money.
He was really good. He was overqualified for the position he had there. However, the new studio manager did not know what a podcast consists of. She just got the position because it was available. She was probably there for a long time. And for anybody that doesn't know, we was the longest tenured podcast there.
Easy.
You know,
I couldn't even name any other podcast that was doing it out of there other than us.
Yeah.
There was that dude DJ
Jess, I think.
But he left, and
then shout out to the Real Relate podcast. They were there as well.
Oh, that's true.
Good
I did
folks.
forget that.
Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we were like the longest tenured there. We were there every single week. We knew the employees by name. Some of them knew us by name. However, they just didn't have the technical know-how. Sometimes the equipment was messed up when we would go into the building, or if somebody else left a mess, they would blame it on us. And one of the major things for me, at least, I don't know if it was for you, was that they made some of our guests feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and that's just like off brand for me. And
like they were almost like
for say that.
Like if they got there before us, they would be like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" It's
yeah,
like, chill.
yeah.
Like, you know, they're just going to get interviewed. Like,
yeah,
chill
like
out.
they gave them the hurry up and buy energy.
Yeah,
you know, like following them around.
Right.
And
which honestly, at Staples, I don't get why you have that. Like, you sell office supplies and stuff like that. Like, it's not that in school supplies. It's not that big of a deal if they don't buy it.
It was just weird energy. It was just weird energy. I felt like instead of them, you know, I'm not asking you to roll the red carpet out for us, but, you know, we're the people that are here every week, the only people that are consistently here every week. You know, at least, you know, treat us with a little bit of respect.
Right.
You know, don't make us feel like we're bothering you for showing up. And, you know, it just was off brand for us. It just created a bad energy for our guests. And, you know, we just had to part ways. So.
And not only were we there every week, sometimes we would be in there for
all day,
hours,
all day.
Our record for interviews in a day is 4.
Yeah.
So
tough.
Right. Think about that. That's and also we couldn't control the temperature in that room. It got hot.
Yeah.
It got hot. Like,
when it got cold, it got cold.
Right. It got cold. It got cold. It got hot because the building controlled it, and it was like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Can we not like sweat to death while we're having an interview? I'm sitting there in the corner like, so yeah, man, you know, it's like I'm so focused on being hot I can't even concentrate. But
yeah,
and like we said, you know, 4 interviews in one day, that's a lot of content. You know, that's a lot of things.
And each interview lasted about at least an hour.
At least an hour. I think,
and that's what you get on camera.
I think the shortest one that day was only about 45 minutes.
And that's because they were closing and we had to leave.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out Brew Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a good interview.
Stay safe. That was a good interview.
Yeah, but you know what? Regardless of all the, you know, choppy relationship that we had with them, we're still appreciative. Shout out to Staples. They gave us a start. And
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, you know exactly. I mean? So and I'm grateful for that at least.
And I'm also grateful for all the former guests because, you know, they really took a chance on us with us interviewing you and, you know, welcoming us onto the platform.
Absolutely.
We want to make the point home that, you know, we're here for you. We want to hear your story. We want to know, like, what made you the person you are today. And I can't thank the guests enough for that. We've had, you know, some interviews may have gone other ways than we wanted it to, but the point still remains.
That's the nature of it, though. That's the nature of it.
The point still remains that you took the time out of your day to come get interviewed, and you weren't really Hollywood about it, and we really appreciate that. Oh, actually, speaking of a former guest and what I was doing post Staples, I was a panelist on the Testing Lab. Now, the Testing Lab was created by the Museum TV, Noble. Shout out to Noble, one of the best people in the city. what it does.
Great interview we had with him too.
Unbelievable. Like, and I learned, what I took away from that, he was a former LaSalle graduate, just like
yeah,
myself.
that was a dope.
You know what I'm saying? Small world stuff
yeah.
goes around. But anyways, what the testing lab does is you have, I think it's about 5 to 6 panelists, all DJs, media platforms. Off the top of my head, the current panelist setup is Dallas Rose, Jay Rose,
which
Devo,
all work for them.
DJ Wysham,
Yep.
shout out to her, the legend Jeff 2 Times, and Charlie Machine of CWTFB Radio. So you're going up on stage, you're going to test 3 of your songs, and they're going to tell you whether you like it or not, what has to be improved. When I was doing it, it was so fire. Like, it was just, you could feel the helpful energy in the room. Obviously, there'd be some times where, it sounded like the criticism was a bit more insulting, but I think that's just a little tough love, and ultimately,
Which is okay.
And the ultimate thing too is not everybody's gonna like your stuff. So if you go up there and the panelists all don't like it, then you know what? To me, that's not your audience.
Yeah,
your audience may be elsewhere, but it's good you took the chance and went up on that stage to those panelists in front of. They actually get a great crowd too.
Yeah,
and honestly, it's on a Tuesday night.
It was a good vibe.
It's a Tuesday night. They're getting that crowd. That's
twice.
Awesome.
I went twice, and it was a vibe. I really had a good time there, man. The energy was amazing.
It really is.
And you get to meet so much cool people there too. So
and that's the other thing. You can, the whole motto of it is 10 artists, 1 panel, 1 million connections, or something like that. Because it's true.
That's just Noble's mastermind, bro.
He really is. Man can be president. But the thing with that is, even if you don't make a connection with a panelist, you could still make it with someone in the crowd or a fellow artist. I've seen a lot of people, me post leaving there, have connections with the DJs, the producers, and stuff like that. So to say it's working would be an understatement. It's incredibly working.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure,
but
man.
That's
what else have you been doing like in this?
Bro, I've been in grad school, actually. I got into grad school. I got into my dream grad school of I should say I wanted to go there just for grad school, but I did want to go there for my 4-year degree, Emerson College, because I'm a communications major, and that's like literally if you are in media, if you're studying media, that's the place you want to be. That's like, that is home base. That's like,
Pete, we all know you in there looking for a girl, bro.
Hey man, so they don't even know about that. You know what I'm saying? That's just that type of thing. It's just on the side, but
those theater majors.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, if I wasn't going there for that, I'm going there for acting. They got a good ass acting program.
Yeah.
Because they have the Emerson Colonial Theater, which is like right next to the campus, and they put on their own shows. They do other renditions of musicals, but if you're going there and you're like an actor, or actress,
or aspiring to be,
right, set yourself up there.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing mostly, but man, more importantly, I've been existing. I've been living. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very important.
That's
what I'm saying? Being in a good headspace.
Yeah.
Being in a good place on this earth. But yeah, taking trips. You know what I mean?
Man, you always taking
that's
trips.
What I mean. Like,
that's not even anything new. Anybody that knows Pete knows that Pete is constantly traveling.
It's funny because Mike would text me and be like, "Yo, where you at?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm in New York." Like,
bro, I'm in Toronto.
Yeah,
bro,
that's what I'm saying. Emphasis on I'm in Toronto. He's like, man, like, when the fuck did you leave? Honestly, to get off topic, but I love that. Like, you like be viewing someone's IG story and they're just like in a different ass country. I don't know. I like that because I like to see people travel. I think that's dead cool. It's like, oh, I haven't talked to you in a long, but it's like, oh, you're posting up in like the Maldives or like Egypt or some shit like that. I think that's dead cool, honestly.
Egypt is definitely in the bucket list.
You gotta travel. That's the one thing I will tell anybody. I understand that like hardworking people don't like vacations and they say fuck a vacation. Me personally, I could never say fuck a vacation.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I can't do it. I get the hard work inside of it, but more importantly, you need to go enjoy yourself somewhere else.
For sure, especially while you're young and still got energy.
Right.
There's so many videos I've seen of like these old couples traveling and they're just like dead tired.
Yeah.
That's it's still cute, but it's sad,
That's goals. Listen, they did a scientific study that your leading up to a trip is like when the brain's like the most happy because you're all excited, your dopamine levels are going up, and then obviously post-trip they go
man, I don't know if I agree, bro.
Bro, it's science.
You know what?
It's on the page.
I guess, but you know what, man? For me, leading up to a trip, The days before, I'm anxious. I'm a nervous wreck. So I'm scared of flying. Well, I was scared of flying, right? I was scared of flying, but this summer I took a trip to Florida. Nothing fancy, but when I survived that turbulence, I'm no longer scared of flying.
I hate turbulence.
But
like,
I guess
this is it.
I guess my brain is happiest when I land.
Yeah.
Or when I get to where I'm going. Say I'm visiting somebody or I'm going to a hotel. When my bag is down and I'm like, that's when I relax.
Yeah.
But the whole other time is just, I'm a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
I'm in a rush. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get here.
Oh, that's why I don't
put your arm on my armrest.
I don't carry a carry-on bag. I'll see. I don't got a carry-on bag. I'm off the plane. I'm like, get my luggage, get me off the plane, and start this fucking vacay.
Oh man.
I know I'm not to be one of those people, but kind of be one of those people because it's like, get me off this motherfucker. I got long legs. I got to stretch out my shit. And
I get very anxious and impatient when the plane arrives and they put the gate on the door and then everybody stands up and then the people that are standing up, they have 32 carry-on bags and it's like, yo, just like by courtesy, let the person who's ready to go get off.
Go, like seriously.
Whatever, man. But
like
it is what it is.
What's been up with you, my man?
Honestly, not much actually. I graduated from school.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got an associate in business.
With the help of former guest All-Ray Scholars, by the way.
Shout out to All-Ray Scholars, man. Anybody that's looking for a second chance at your educational goals, hit up All-Ray Scholars. The application is super easy. Other than financial help, they provide you with mentorship. So it's not only on the educational side, it's also they care about you as the person. So please hit them up. They have a really good team there, and they're looking to help. The only thing you need in order to qualify is to be a Boston Public Schools graduate, and you have to have enrolled in a college before and for some random reason stopped. So those are the qualifications. Hit them up. But not to deviate too much from the city, I was from the story. I was able to graduate from Bunker Hill. Got accepted into Northeastern, which was my dream school. I'm currently at Northeastern, almost done. Actually doing a +1 program. Anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's a program where you work on your bachelor's and your master's at the same time, kind of to save money. Other than school, man, just been I was trying to get in shape, but it kind of had a reverse effect.
I feel you.
I actually ended up gaining weight. The weights that I was actually lifting was under a spoon, over a spoon. Yeah, so it was great, man. Those dumbbell presses, just for some reason started working on the stomach.
Workout, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that James Harden workout
for sure. XLTs and all that, but other than that, man, just been taking care of the family, and just day by day trying to get better.
Right.
So nothing too exciting. I'm Grandpa Mike for anybody that knows.
Right. Don't ask for money though. Cause
I might give you some candy,
right?
Like the ones you don't even like, anyways.
Yeah. You ask him for tips, he'll give you life advice. That's his tips. But I want to get into something that a lot of people may not know. So when we were in the process of coming back, we had an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. No, I'm just kidding. But
we was gonna assemble.
The
Gorgonites.
Yeah, seriously, we were gonna assemble the Say That Avengers. But there was a strong idea to record out of the Laced store in the Copley Mall. And if anyone has ever been into Laced, that's not just in that location, because they did move. That's not just their store.
Shout out to Joe, man. Shout out to Nerd. Shout out to the whole
everybody. Yeah. Great people. It unfortunately didn't materialize, but that's just, it's one of those things where, it didn't happen. It's cool. You move on. To me, I still will shop at Laced. Like we said, I still wish all of them well. And honestly, bro, if we were gonna record out there, we'd have to move out a year later because they ended up moving. Yeah, they're now on Newberry Street. They're not in the Copley Mall.
Hindsight's always 2020. It was a great opportunity. I've known Joe since I grew up watching the evolution of Laced. I grew up in the South End. Their first location was right on Tremont Street, which is now very fancy, expensive restaurant. The food is all right. Prices are crazy. Then they moved where I think Crown Kings is a fitted hat store. then I just
That's
saw
a
them
poppin' store,
boom.
too.
I saw
Yeah.
them boom, and you know my personal relationship with him came about me actually being a coworker with his younger brother at Nike for the longest. So we had him on the show before.
Which was a great interview. He gave us a
great
lot
interview.
of insight, especially about like how the riots in 2020 messed up his store. But he had a great take on that.
Yeah. And just his come up, man. It's just amazing to see where he's at now. But
they've opened like. How many,
they're in every mall.
Like
They're in every mall.
Forget. Yeah. First of all, they're in every mall in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
pretty much. But now they got like 3 stores in Florida.
That's crazy.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's what you call expansion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
so
sure.
that's why Joe has like the mind of a hustler. Is a great businessman like that.
But one thing about him is that I always liked is that he wants to bet on the underdog, and I reached out to him and explored an opportunity. Shout out to Mag, somebody that was with the podcast still, back in those times, and we drafted together, like a contract. It worked out perfectly. We even went in there, set up the back. We was super
the
excited.
lost tapes.
Yeah, the lost tapes.
Actually recorded a half hour. There's actually a lost episode.
The lost tape. Hey, you know what? If you guys comment on this and ask us for it, we might drop it.
Yo,
it was fun.
The hidden tape.
Yeah.
Legend of the Hidden Say That episode.
Absolutely, and laced. But it just didn't work out for many reasons. Not any problems, actually.
No, absolutely not.
It was just a terms of miscommunications and availability and everything. When you manage 152 stores, it's very hard to take a side project. So
Right.
Yeah, that was that. But that was a cool opportunity. I'm happy that we
really
even
was.
tried that.
That really was, and I'm kind of sad that they moved out of that spot because I really liked that spot.
That spot was legendary.
I really did.
When you would walk in, it felt like a museum.
Right, and I liked the whole setup of how like they had the canopy, at the top of the store, when you walk in, so it feels like kind of like a homey like kind of store.
Yeah, for sure.
But everybody was just super nice in there, and if you ever seen the back of it, it's just all art. It's not even. I don't even think they used it for storage. It was just.
I mean, partly,
but it's all.
They had a storage. They had their storage right before you get to that section, and it was crazy. Like you can get your hair cut there.
Yeah.
You can probably cook in there.
Legit.
You could do
anything in there.
Album listening party there. It was just a very cool.
Like anything you think of,
place.
you could do back there.
Yeah.
And it's and that's why I like it because it was so hidden.
Yeah.
It was like you opened up. It was like you're in a different world.
Yo, and
art,
I don't know if
I
you
love
guys,
the art.
I don't know
in
if
there.
you remember, but like at least when I was coming up in high school, Lace was the place where Ab Soul would go, Kendrick Lamar, G Herbo. These guys, when they would come from on shows in Boston, they'll always stop in Lace and either do King Los, who used to be there a lot too. Shout out King Los, man. That used to be one of my favorites growing up.
It really did. That was that. Like you said, that was a spot, and he built a great reputation. But as always, shout out to them.
Absolutely,
they'll still continue to shine. Please go shop there at any of their stores. It's a Boston brand, so gotta support Boston. But the main point is we're here at AOA now, and we love it.
Shout out Joe and the entire team.
And it's gonna be a great long run here at AOA. And the one other thing I would like to harken on is how much, like I mentioned earlier with the Tesla Lab, but how much just the scene has grown as a whole. And it's just been really, really cool to see like the come up of all these different artists and like all these different platforms. It really like drives the point home how Boston is, for my money, actually going to be a national scene if it isn't already. Like
I think it's well on its way.
I think what also a lot of people forget is that Boston music has had a stamp in the game for a long time, especially with New Edition, Belle Biv DeVoe. So it's weird because people like to compare it to like in Atlanta or New York, where it's like, yeah, you have all these legendary artists that come from there, but Boston still has a stamp in the music scene of America as a whole. Obviously with the people who have blown up now, like Joyner, Bia, Cousin Stiz, but
before that,
right?
We had Gangstar, Guru,
right?
Like
legitimate like legends of the game. Terminology is still going. You know what I mean?
For real. So.
And that's what I think a lot of people outside the scene should know about is the history of it. Because, like, when they think of Boston, what do you think of as, like, normal average? Touristy spots. Like,
honestly, the thing
landmark spots. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like... it's basically changing the reputation of the city a little bit, so it's more known for its arts. And honestly, it's not known for racism. I know, like, that's like one of like the hot takes online whenever like the Red Sox win or the Celtics win. They're like, oh, the championship parade is gonna be a bunch of Klan hoodies and fucking torch sticks. It's like, no, it ain't. Like, that's just not what happens here. You know what I mean?
I don't actually hear that, so I don't know where the hell you're getting these
Twitter,
comments
bro.
from.
Thank God you're not on Twitter, or X as it's now called.
I haven't heard that. But,
yeah, it's just I hate seeing.
But
that
you
shit.
know what? Like, I think it's important to a certain extent for some people to like do history of. I mean, if that's what you're into, but I guess what I'm most excited about and what I'm most proud of is where the scene is at now. This emergence in so many rappers, this emergence in so much music, comedians, different platforms,
art as a whole.
Yeah, just people not being afraid to put their thing out there. That's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm excited to see. What is the next step in the evolution of that, and how people are working together. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I'm super excited about.
And that's the other thing too. I'm glad you mentioned working, because a big stereotype, or I shouldn't even just say stereotype, just a big hot take that a lot of people have is like, oh, Boston's hateful, bro. This, that, and the other thing with like, oh, I'm not gonna blow up because I'm from Boston. Like, that's just not true. Like, if you want to see a hateful city, go to Los Angeles. Like, it's nuts out there. Shout out to Connor Holloway. He's currently out there filming a movie. I remember he posted
Golden
a snap.
Deer.
Yes, sir. I remember he posted a snap story, right? He was talking to some guy, and, whatever have you. He's like, okay, man, keep hustling. And the guy replies back, don't need to hustle. I already have everything. Like, what? Like, you just gave this dude, like, some helpful advice. You just told him to go fuck himself? Like, what? Like, that's like insane. That's why he calls it the snake pit, because you kind of are in a grass full of, or not even a grass, but a large field full of snakes.
But what if that guy really actually made it?
I don't know. He was like some like dog trainer or some shit like that. So I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
he's
I don't know
happy.
what making it in that lane of things. But
Maybe he's happy.
To tell somebody I don't need to keep hustling is kind of crazy. You always should be hustling. You know what I mean? But that's neither here or there.
Yeah, I don't think that we have a hateful
absolutely
culture
not.
or anything.
Everyone...
I just think that the type of energy you put out there, and hey man, I'm not trying to get into none of that spiritual miracle swimming pool shit, but yeah, I mean, I guess the energy you put out there is what you're gonna receive. So,
and I also think that, like, and I actually said this on Instagram because one of the meme pages in Boston posted something about this, is
Boston.
like it was like Boston Culture or something like that. One of those whack pages I don't like paying attention to, but pops up on your Explore feed so you see it. Is that, like I said, Boston isn't a hateful city. You have people like every day putting in the work, like, the Van Buren boys, Key, Boy
shout
Rock,
out to them, man.
the whole Feed the Family collective as a whole, but they get all genuine support. Like, anyone I've ever seen as an artist from the city has, especially out of me, have gotten genuine support. Not even just because you're from Boston, but because you're good at what you do and your craft. The point I was trying to make with that was, someone brought up, oh, then why don't people blow up? I'm like, well, that's not true. Like you said, the legend in the game obviously have blown up. Millie's is on his way, well on his way. Bia especially. You can't expect to blow up right away just based on love from the city. You, as an artist, got to expand your horizons. Boston's a small city. I call it the biggest small city in the world. The world's huge. Demographic isn't in the city. That's not the city's fault. That, like you said before with the testing lab, that's just not your audience. So what you got to do is find that audience. And maybe that audience is in, Seattle or friggin' the sticks of South Dakota. The point is, you just got to go find it. And to say like, oh, why don't people from Boston blow up? Bro, if everybody from Boston blew up, it would be an oversaturation of the market. Mm-hmm. And it would be like this whole just jumbled mess of like, it would be cool, but like not everyone can. That's just mathematically impossible.
But I think it's also like it does more damage than it does good when the ultimate goal is to blow up. You know what I mean? I think that you can have a sustainable career in whatever it is that you do without blowing up.
Right.
There's a really good interview actually by Terminology. I think he did it on Sway in the Morning, or I can't remember where, but he was talking about it. Like, he's like, I retired my family, and many people outside of Boston probably don't know, unless you're like a super hip hop nerd or something like that, you probably don't really listen to his music or something like that, you know. And he's been at it for so long. So that probably speaks to it as well. People,
and he's managed to stay relevant too.
People that are spoon-fed music, they don't know his type of music, but people that actually seek music,
Right.
stumble upon that quality of music. So, and he's living good.
Absolutely.
You know?
He's giving back to his community every day.
If the goal is to be the next Drake, you're probably going to be very miserable.
Right. And you're probably going to be let down with yourself too.
Yeah, but if the goal is to, hey, this is what I love, I'm doing it for the love and I'm going to figure it out, then, you know, I guess the energy and everything may transition. I'm not saying it's going to guarantee anything, but at least your outlook on whatever the outcome is going to be different. So
And
I just think that that's toxic to be, and I hate using that word, but it's toxic to be like, I just want to blow up,
Right.
you know? I mean, I think it's cool.
Well,
that
actually,
you want that,
it's funny you say that because remember what we said, you know, way back when to each other. It's like, yo, what if we blew up after episode 5? You know,
Yeah.
we would have to sustain that. So
Yeah.
the point, I think, and you mentioned earlier, is sustainability as an artist. You can have fun with it. Have as much fun as you want being an artist or having a platform, because honestly, that's what it's about at the end of the day. You do want to get paid, yes, but at first you're not gonna right away, and that's just what a lot of people think that
If at all.
if at all, it may take you 5 years to get paid, but the point is to stay at it and to stay consistent and to have a fun sense of sustainability while doing so. But yeah, that's just, you know.
Yeah, if you blow up out of nowhere and you don't have the work ethic or anything, how are you gonna keep that up? You're just gonna be Lil Pump or Gucci Gang, you know? That was just
I'm
one,
sick
and
of
then
those. There's industry plans with podcasting now. Like, that's crazy. Like, speaking of just industry plans with artists, now there is with podcasting.
I know who you're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say her, but she's had interviews with Drake, Lil Yachty, and I believe Mark Cuban. If you know, you know, because no free clout. But I fucking hate that, bro. I'm sorry. I don't like her.
Damn.
But it's just, you know what I mean? It like, this is like the industry plan thing. It's like up, and then it's down, and then that's it. You're gone forever, unless you reinvent yourself. But you're gone forever, pretty much. But yeah, that shit's been tough.
I did a little bit of like poking around about said person. I don't know. I don't really know how to say her name, but apparently she had a decent following before she started doing podcasting.
That's the thing too. There's like people with like 1 million followers and stuff out there. I got no clue who they are. So maybe they're buying them because like I've noticed a lot of people buying followers and stuff like that. And like, listen, let me tell you from the viewer standpoint, it don't work. I can tell when I go click on your page and you have like 100K followers, but your likes don't even eclipse like 500.
Yeah,
like, I can just tell.
Or less than that.
Or even less, like even way less than that.
Yeah.
It's like, so just remain authentic, please.
I remember I didn't even used to pay attention to that, and then you and Alex, shout out to Alex Jesus, man, he's down in Texas doing his thing.
Houston, man,
nothing but much success. And don't be surprised if he stumbles upon an episode or two, or who knows. You know, we're not gonna say too much on that, but don't be surprised. But I remember you guys used to point it out to me. I used to be like, yo, look at this person, they got X amount of followers. That's when I was that's where like some of the details of the grandpa might come in, you know. I'm all like, look at the amount of followers. You're like, yeah, but he gets 20 likes and he got 10,000 followers. I was like, okay.
That's
I get
big
it.
cap.
Yeah,
That's big capping right
yeah,
there.
but I just never cared enough to like look that deep into it. But
Well, and this is the thing with like following and stuff like that, especially with a pod. Like, I do this because I like doing it. We both like doing it. Yes, we want to, you know, we have our own goals with the, you know, with the pod as a whole, but like, I'm not gonna trip over like not getting like 500 likes. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna trip over like getting like, because the people that are liking the post are your actual supporters. Like, you know what I mean?
What are you know, now that you say that, what are some of the things that you're most proud of that we was able to accomplish before we took the break?
Literally, like, the following we built. I think that, you know, personally, I would like to get, you know, our social following up, but I think from where we started, especially because we started with a lot of stuff late, like if you notice from watching the show, we didn't have a camera till episode 15. We didn't make our YouTube debut till episode 15, pretty much. We were on SoundCloud till week 8 of the podcast. I think the Jay Hustle episode was the first episode we uploaded to Apple and Spotify. So what I'm really proud of was just, the people that stuck by us through that whole run. So even if we were on SoundCloud till week 8, they still listen. Even if we weren't on YouTube, they're still going to listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever else you find your platforms and podcasts. But most importantly, what I am proud of is just the connections we made with different people in the scene. Obviously, this brand new studio with Mike Scarfo and Turntable Teachers. But just to run down a list, Noble, Charlie, Jay Hustle, Bugsy. Bugsy's been a great, guy, a great supporter. Those are just to name a few.
Yeah,
but
so many.
The overall scope of who we've met and how we've met them, and just being nice and authentic. Oh, actually, wait, this actually brings me to another story. What I was doing, post because
I'm dead.
So I actually, and this is shout out to SK the Great Skizzle, Sean Kelly. He invited me to try out for the Nowhere Studios podcast. They were opening a podcast. I believe my man Isaac Groove actually suggested my name to him because we weren't recording this was back in January, and we obviously had been out for a year. So I went in and I met him, and big thing with me is I want to be authentic when I first meet you. I don't want to think you're seeing just some gimmick and I'm going to be some asshole like the next time you see me. But it didn't work out, unfortunately, but of course, all the best to him. He's been another great supporter of the podcast and everything that we've been doing, and their podcast has been thriving. It's the What Are We podcast, or I believe Where Are We, excuse me. But yeah, I just thought that was dope. That
I forgot the name of the artist that's on there. There's an artist. I actually met him at a show I went to in Dorchester Art Project. I know who you're talking about. But that's a cool podcast. I like what they got going on.
Yeah, and that's I think is the
Andre.
I think that's the Andre X.
Andre X. Yeah. Yo, what's crazy? He had a crazy performance. I think he did like 3-4 songs, but before every song started, he would explain why the song was special to him. And he had this one song where before he went on, he said, I remember I did shrooms. I was like down on my just feeling bad. I did shrooms, and after this, I started feeling real good. And he did a song about it. But it was such a fire performance that I felt connected to it. So shout out to him, and shout out to everything that they got going on.
As I was saying, with me going to Nowhere and trying out, that's the scene working. You know what I mean? That's the connections building and the connections connecting.
Talking about connecting, I think that to circle back to the previous question, I think that the thing that I'm most proud of with our previous installments of episodes is the fact that people that didn't know each other started working with each other because they either saw each other, saw their episode, or cross paths because of that's what I'm most happy for when I see Jeff Porter, David Ryan doing a song with Neek Rose. That's just
Miles Carter doing a song with Neek Rose.
That's just, I feel so happy about it. You know what I mean?
It genuinely puts a smile on my face. Yeah, it really does. And it's not even to be the ego side of oh yeah, we made that happen. It's just that you were able to connect.
And shout out to Bars Over Bars as well. I don't want to ever take any credit away from them. I know we've deep into the episode, but they also played a big part in helping these connections happen.
You know what's crazy? When Jeff and David recorded their episode, they still haven't done a Bars Over Bars show yet.
Wow.
They didn't do a Bars Over Bars show yet. And now they've done almost near 20 with 2 headliners.
Wow.
Yo, that headliner they did at the Jungle we were there was unbelievable. Yeah, that was one of my favorite nights ever.
Yeah. But when Negroes got on when they did Flow Machines and Negroes got on stage. God,
I've watched that performance back 10 times. No joke. Yeah. I've ran that back. But like you said,
we also got to bring back the cypher we did
that's that's another lost tape. We recorded. We had a recorded cypher, man. But
all due to technical difficulties, just trying to figure out how to work technology and stuff. But
to get a short topic, I would like to have a couple host some ciphers. I think that'd be dead cool for the pod. But of course, as we were saying earlier, shout out to Bars Over Bars. They're throwing shows left and right. They're helping out a lot of artists get stage presence. As you said, make connections, which is the big thing. But I have to probably agree with you on that sentiment that people making connections through the pod was a real
Honestly, that's what I'm most proud of. Just seeing people work with each other, or people that I'm also proud of giving the first interview to a lot of people.
Honest to God, like a lot of people have come up to us and been like, "Yo, you were my first interview. You were our first interview."
But I'm also thankful for it because it was our first time too.
Of course, that's what I mean. So it's good to do research on that person, especially like I said, if it is their first interview, and I hope that gives them the confidence to go do other interviews.
For sure.
Because, we're not holding any artists back. You're not, oh yeah, you're a Say That official artist or something like that. No.
The hell is that?
Yeah, exactly. Go do your thing, you know. You know what I mean? That? It's like, go do your thing, go stretch your wings and fly. We're here to support you. And I want that to be, more clear in that sense. But I got to ask, what are you really looking forward to now that, we're in a new home, we're reinventing the wheel, shout out TJ. And we're really, what I mean?
Shout out TJ. I swear to God, anybody that don't know TJ is one of the most loving guys in the scene, man. Like, and he's such a genuine dude, connecting with you. I'm not gonna lie, like I was pro. Like if he didn't move, I was pro. Like yo, he needs to come on and work with us in any way. I'll be happy to work with him,
100%.
Just because he's one of these dudes that genuinely loves hip hop,
like seriously
loves hip hop.
Like yo, if you follow him and you see his stories, he's tagging everybody because that's the shit he loves. That's the shit he really likes.
Yeah,
I was with him the other day because he was down visiting from
I saw that.
South Carolina. Thank God I linked up with him. I missed him, but he echoed that same sentiment. He wanted to if he stayed. I
remember there was a day at the Jungle and I was like, bro, you gotta come on as like a writer or something. I wish I
had like his energy and shit like that. You know what I mean?
You do. You probably just gotta channel it in
a little bit. But he's just so like, just genuine and nice. Like I can't picture that dude ever being like sad or angry. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because he's just one of those like happy dudes.
Bro, don't sleep. TJ will fuck you up.
Yo, on does.
But no, just to answer the question, I'm looking forward to continuing to spread the awareness on the great talents that we have in the city and outside the city as well. Anybody that catches our eye, anybody that we would like to connect to, I'm hoping that we can help in some way, and also to continue the outwards connections, people that meet as a result of them being on this platform. I love to see that. I'm looking forward to working with other platforms as well,
of course.
And I'm just looking to spread the word, man. Anybody that's doing something great for themselves or for the community, a top performer, somebody that has something that is remarkable and is doing something remarkable and doing it at a consistent clip, why not talk about them? These are the people that deserve their flowers, right. And Say That would always be a home.
And that's what we're driving home. We want those high-level performers. We want those people, putting, as Rob Kelly Morgan said, putting in the work. Shout out Putting Work TV. It's that type of putting work. That's what we want to see.
That was a dope interview we had with him.
That was very insightful. That was a very, very insightful. And I'm glad he came back for the second run of it. Because that's another lost tape. Damn, how many lost tapes we got?
Bro.
There was a old lost tape of the first interview Rob did for the platform, but the second interview was just fire. That's another great mind to talk to and stuff like that. Yeah, to just gain insight.
We had a whole line of questions for him. And we didn't even go over any question because it was just a vibe,
right?
Like the whole way.
It was like he was there on on some very friendly stuff, but he just gave us a lesson. I feel like I just got like educated by him.
No, I feel like I mean I guess you can see it that way, but I just think we were just talking about just how you have to love what you do. Like that's the overall message that I got, and then him sharing his story was also very inspiring,
But the main point is love what you do and love it hard. I think that's very important.
And put in the work.
And,
no pun intended.
And I know among the platforms of the city, a big topic is who's winning the BMA for Best Music Podcast of the Year. And honestly, like to me, that's just excellent recognition. I feel like that's not the end goal. You know what I mean? People ask, like the last time we were doing it in 2021, like, oh, why don't you nominate and stuff like that? It's like, okay, well, I think about it. Like, we interview a lot of musicians, right? We do, but we also interview like the Jeff Peñas, the Manlows, the So Boss,
The R-Ray Scholars.
right? The All Ray Scholars. We're basically
The
like
factory pieces.
we're more of like a society and culture type thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We're not really in the box of music. That's not to say that we're not going to interview artists. Absolutely come on and share your story, but know that we try to touch a lot of bases as possible.
Yeah.
And we don't just like.
I mean, I'm not only interested in music.
Right, of
and
course.
Pete's not only interested in
Bro, I
music.
want to interview a wrestler. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit I want
And that's
to
the
do.
bottom line.
Right.
But
exactly.
no, yeah, we just. I guess we're not. I'm not trying to be boxed in as we're a music podcast. We're not a music podcast. We love interviewing artists, and quite frankly, there's an abundance of them, but there's an abundance of everything else. We've had comedians before.
Shout out Sam
But
Buck.
yeah, we're just interested in anybody that's interesting and is doing something dope,
Of course.
that and they have a cool story to share. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but I don't care much for any awards, man. To be honest with you,
This is enough. You know what I mean? For me, like contributing to the scene, contributing just as a whole is good enough for me. That's good satisfaction for me. Like if we get a nomination and win an award, that's cool. I like Boy Rock said, I'm into art now. I like art. That look good on my wall. But you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's just the bottom line of it, as you said.
Yeah, man, I'm just happy with us continuing to do that. People being able to progress.
Because
As
this
a
has
result
been a
of it,
long
so.
time coming. Like you said, and honest to God, I kind of didn't want the last episode we ever did was to be like.
What was our last episode,
It was that porn star chick.
bro? That was a fun episode.
I wasn't
was a
there for
fun
that, but it's
episode.
like.
I had so much fun doing that because if you go back and watch our last episode with the Queen of Avocado, who she's I don't know what the right name for it is, but I think
Adult
she's
entertainer.
an adult entertainer.
Say that.
Yeah.
Don't say this. But,
Yeah, say that. It was fun, and if you guys see that interview, I was genuinely just curious. All those questions, like I probably didn't write many of them. I was just like,
Yo,
damn,
I
people
remember-
really pay you for that?
I
I guess I was entertained in the interview.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
remember like giving both of y'all a question, and y'all immediately laughed at it because it's like, well, she's an adult entertainer, so it's like, what else am I gonna ask her instead of just like adult entertainment? Like, not on some horny shit, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes with topics like that can be sensitive. Sometimes you got to beat around the bush a little bit, and
Would you interview another adult entertainer?
of course. You know what?
Good look up for that.
Yeah, of course. I think that'll be fun. Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
It'll be a challenge. It'll show a different side. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to
absolutely.
it. And if she got bars, even better.
Yo, that'd be fire. Yo, that would be dead fire if she was like a artist and like she does like some OnlyFans stuff. That'd be heat.
I mean that you know what?
I mean, because honestly,
I think a lot of girls are doing that now.
yeah,
No?
like that sexy red chick. That's like Cardi B. That's basically what they rap about. Not they don't do no like OnlyFans stuff. But, they've had some skin in the game before they were artists. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say there. Oh man, this is why it's good to be back. The vibe of it, just enjoying having some good laughs and stuff like
For
that.
sure, man. For sure.
But ultimately, I can't. Like I said, we're probably gonna be wrapping up soon. I just can't thank y'all enough for staying with
sure.
the pod and just staying, a loyal, not even loyal support, just the support in general. You know what I mean? Just the, if we ask a question of, do you want to be on the pod, and you suggest somebody else, that's even better. You know what I mean? Of course, we want to interview you, but we want to see that side of the world too. And I think it's going to be important moving on that, we're going to be highlighting a lot of interesting stories, a lot of different stories. You're going to see a lot of fresh new faces. As much as, we're going to bring back old faces because obviously, they've done a myriad of other things while we've been gone. But starting off our run, you're going to see a lot more faces. Not going to say who, not going to spoil any surprises here, but there's going to be some new faces on the pod that we've been looking forward to interview. And I'm very much looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And just to expand on the goal of having as much connections and helping promote other people, anybody who's a beat maker, anybody who's a producer, send us beats. We're gonna
Please.
have artists on.
Please send us
We'd
beats.
love to display
do ciphers. We want to highlight you too.
Absolutely, and don't be afraid to send us your stuff. And we'll love to have artists freestyle on it, or maybe even put it as the background while we're doing the interview. But it'll be promotion. You will be tagged. Your credit will be given, and it's just another way of us supporting. So don't be afraid to send us your stuff. We're happy to take a listen to it.
I think that's it, Mike. I think we had a excellent comeback episode. First of all, I want to, again, and I'm going to reiterate, thank you to everybody who's tuned back in. Thank you to AOA Studios and Mike Scarfo for the beautiful space.
Big shout out to AOA.
To continue our work. And most importantly, thank you to my family. Thank you to my friends. And most importantly, this guy right here. Thank you for staying with it, Mike. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, whoever said we fought, we might have taken a couple. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? It might have won a few rounds. UFC was in town the last couple of days, so you know what I mean.
The tickets didn't sell, but no, but for real, I'm super excited for what's to come. Shout out to everybody who's been showing love. We look forward to continue being a source of entertainment, a source of promotion, a source of connections for the city and for anybody doing some dope shit. You can find us on YouTube at Say That Podcast.
Yep.
Exclamation
point.
With the exclamation on the that.
Is important, actually, after the that.
Absolutely. You can find us on Say_that_pod on Instagram. You can find P at Repeat
617 on Instagram.
And you can find me at Mike.Sanchez with 3 Z's so they can stop sleeping.
I missed that. Damn, I missed that. That literally was like one of my favorite things about the ending was that, because it's so like dope that like that's the thought. Like, stop sleeping on a boy. You know what I'm saying?
Going back to back like Shaq and Kobe. I remember
what I
that
mean?
one.
Yes, sir. That's
Shout
what
out to the
repeat
original
stands for.
listeners. They'll remember that. But yeah, man, we're back. We're excited to be back. We're excited to have you back tuned in. We'll be dropping every 2 weeks for you guys.
New schedule.
Absolutely. And make sure to hit us up. We got a lot of good, exciting things coming.
We got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you, everybody.
And for now, don't say this.
Say that.